So, in 2023, I finally took the plunge and decided to dive into the world of Skyrim for the first time. Well, that's not completely true. I did buy Skyrim for the PlayStation 3 years and years ago, but I never really played much past Riverwood. I think I did make it to Whiterun, but I mean, if you've played Skyrim before, you know that basically counts as not ever playing before because you haven't even gotten into any part of the game. You're not even on the main storyline yet. So, I don't really count that as ever playing Skyrim before. So, starting off this experience, wanting to get the full kind of Skyrim experience from a total beginner's perspective, I wanted it to be as vanilla as possible, so I didn't run any mods, just wanted base vanilla Skyrim so I could experience it the way it was made, well, the way that it is sold now. And of course, with it being 2023, I already wouldn't be playing the 2011 version, as Bethesda has unlisted that version of the game from Steam. So my experience will be with the special edition, which just happened to be on sale. My impression of Skyrim from, an outsider's perspective was it was a big world with lots of bugs and, of course, arrows to the knee. So I begin my playthrough like anybody else ever did, waking up in the back of a wagon, not knowing what's going on or who I am. So, to start off the playthrough, I went with just being a Nord, because I wanted the most generic playthrough. You know, getting ready for execution, a dragon flies down, attacks, and then we must escape the city without getting attacked and killed by this dragon. So, we leave from there, head to Riverwood, where we meet Alvor, only to, immediately leave from there and head to Whiterun. Do all the immediate things, meet the Jarl and his mage, who sends us on a quest and sends us into our first dungeon. And this is where I ended up learning my first very important lesson, and that is to save frequently. I made it long way through the dungeon for what I assume is a bug to throw me off of a bridge and kill me. I guess stepping on a piece of debris or something, and it just slingshots me off of this bridge and into the area below, which kills me. And immediately I respawn back at the beginning of the dungeon. No fucking way! This was really heartbreaking and demoralizing. It almost made me quit for the day. I was so upset because I was really thinking that there was some kind of autosave system in place where, I had made it through so many sections. I thought maybe autosave would, at least possibly put me somewhere back in the cave. I would have to replay a portion of it, but I respawned at, like, the very beginning, the entrance. And now everything I had done was reset. And it was... ugh. So, I proceeded through the dungeon for the second time, quick saving very, very frequently. After returning with the tablet, thrown into a dragon attack nearby a watchtower, and after defeating that dragon, something crazy happened, and we absorbed the soul of the dragon we just defeated, which then triggers the event to be summoned by the Greybeards. So all of this very early on, just it was like a lot to take in, especially because I didn't do any world exploring. I was just going at the quest one after the other. So this was like a lot of stuff happening one after the other after the other. So I report to the Greybeards so they can talk with me and test me on my abilities. And then once I'm coming down from the mountaintop with the Greybeards, I was attacked by a group of cultists.
Then it is too late. The lie has already taken root in the hearts of men. So we shall expose to them the falseness in
I thought this was, a normal planned event and was part of the main quest line. So, I picked up the cultist note and started on the quest line because I thought that the quest line that popped up with the cultist note was part of the main quest. So I ended up arriving in Morrowind at level 9, and I'm sure anyone that has played before is starting to get a slight chuckle going because I definitely should not have been in Morrowind that early on in the game. And I ended up making it much further than I should have. And once I was so far in Morrowind, things started getting like super hard. And I ended up turning to Google to see if there was some strategy that I was supposed to be using to help me out, or, what I was doing wrong to make this portion of the game basically impossible. And that's when I ended up finding out that this was supposed to be like post game content. All of the Mirak things and going through going through the Mirak temple and whatever else was all. I wasn't supposed to be doing that for a long time, but I actually made it a lot further than I was supposed to in that quest line. So immediately, once I realized this, I began course correcting to get back to the main storyline of taking down Alduin. This, the main evil dragon. But my little side quest mishap overpowered me for a big portion of the main quest line. And I don't know if that hurt or helped my experience for a first playthrough, because there was a large portion of the game that I just kind of breezed through it. I could take enemies down fairly easily, which made quest dialogue much closer together. So by the time I would complete parts of a quest, I still remembered what other characters had told me, and it helped make it closer together. So in my mind, I was actually putting the story together better than if I would have had to grind or make multiple attempts to complete portions of quests. But it also made to where certain bosses didn't feel as epic and hard of a battle as I feel like the developers wanted them to be. Even Alduin, it was a tough battle, but I mean, I defeated him on the first try, and he was just only a little bit harder than, coming up on a normal dragon battle. So, since I defeated Alduin and the main quest, I feel like I still have hundreds of hours left to play. So many secrets to find and skills to learn that it's actually a problem controlling myself to not just dump and lose myself in this game for hours or even days at a time. Like, I pretty much have to set a timer and be like, okay, you can play for this long, and then you, no matter where you are, you just have to stop. Because if not, I feel like I could honestly set and play this game for 10, 12, 14 hours every time I sit down. There's so much content. Just the books alone, I feel like would take more hours to read than what I've played the game so far. And having so much to do kind of feels overwhelming, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's necessary to play the game and have fun. It's just extra world building and just kind of background information that not needed, but it makes the world feel so much fuller and so much more enjoyable. One of the only issues that I really see with Skyrim is it just seems to kind of throw you into the middle of this world. It almost feels like you're expected to be a long-time Elder Scrolls player. Like, you need to be. It starts fresh, but at the same time, it feels like you're in the middle of a timeline that you need to know things that happened previously, or there's a lot of things in the game that you won't understand. Which I'm one of those people, but at roughly 50 hours, I've beaten the main quest line, and I began the vampire quest line with the Dawn Guard. And at this point in my playthrough, I definitely can see how this game is considered one of the best games ever. And if I was Bethesda, I absolutely would be terrified to release Elder Scrolls 6 just because of how high this game has set the bar. I mean, consumer disappointment is almost guaranteed when they release the next installment. I guess this is kind of my review for Skyrim. Granted, it's what, 14 years late, but I'm I finally got around to playing this game, and I could I can understand how someone could love this game and it basically be the only game that they play. Let me know what you think. This is my very first scripted video. Granted, I deviated from my script quite a lot, but it kept me on track of kind of what I wanted to say. I've never written a script for a video before. I've always just kind of went with my gut and just kind of said whatever came to mind. I'm going to spend a lot more time in this game. I have a lot of other games that I'm wanting to play too. I mean, right now with the way gaming is, I do believe that buying new games right now is a bad idea just because everything seems so broken, and especially PC ports. Brand new games are coming out that are basically unplayable. So maybe we can start wherever all of us collectively in the gaming community can start working on our backlogs, and maybe we discover some games that are, you know, fantastic games, and we'll just kind of boycott playing these new games until we can start getting good games again. I mean, we've jumped into this next generation of hardware that's supposed to be so far above anything we've ever had before, and games are releasing capped at 30 FPS. I mean, if you've ever wanted to start chopping on your backlog of games, I feel like now is the time to do it, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So, thank you everyone for watching. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section. And if you're not subscribed, hopefully I've earned your subscription with this video. So, thank you everyone, and I'll see you on my next video.